Hey, what's up? You are now tuned in to the LITE Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph, and I'm here with my brothers, Mike Story, Ramsey Genty, and Reggie Harris. Here on the LITE Podcast, our focus is to inspire you to be the best version of yourself through impactful conversations about faith, family, hustle, and health. Why? Because light bring more light. Let's get it. Hey, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Joseph, and I'm here with my brother Mike Story, Ramsey Genty, and we like to welcome y'all to the LITE Podcast. You know what I'm saying? This is our first episode. We in here. How you boys feeling?
Man, doing good. You?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Rams?
I'm making it, man. I'm making it through, but I'm doing good.
Bro, listen, it's the first episode of our podcast. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
We tried the podcast one time, but that one could never come out. Man, it's special. I'm super excited. I feel like we have something unique just to offer people, people like us, young brothers like us. You know, hopefully the sisters they can relate to some of this stuff and get something from it too. But yeah, man, I'm excited about it. Y'all, how y'all feeling about like just the whole podcasting situation, doing it like, you know what I'm saying?
That's surreal. Go ahead, man.
Y'all gotta share the rock.
I'm just about the clout, you know. I'm just here to just show off the shoes and painting. That's what I really got into it for, if you really want to be honest about it.
He's trying to bag in somebody.
You know what I'm saying? He trying to get low. You know what I'm saying?
He looking for that first comment.
I promise you. Hey, listen, ladies, Ramsey is single. Y'all DM him and only him. Nobody else. Just Ramsey. Please
tell your friends. Fellas, tell your friends.
Fellas, tell your friends. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, shoot, we just gonna try and find our rhythm in this thing. You know, we new to it. But man, what we want this podcast to be is just somewhere it's like, bro, like faith, family, hustle, and health. We just want to really tap in to the stuff of like how we growing. Cause we ain't perfect. We all been through our go through, still going through our go through. But you know what I'm saying? We just trying to figure this joker out. And we just figured y'all could figure it out along with us. And we can just have this community as we move forward. You know what I'm saying? So, man, first off, before we even get started, because we haven't even talked about this yet, man, rest in peace, DMX. Like,
man.
Bruh, like, just real quick, before we get into this week's topic, like, tell me one of your favorite DMX moments, with the music, with him, like movie, whatever. Just y'all share a DMX moment.
Man. Oh, now I'm just saying it's crazy. Like I remember singing a lot of them songs when I was younger, but then like hearing them when I got a little bit older, going back and listening to them albums, I was like, dang, I was saying that stuff. For being real.
Yeah.
But nah, man, DMX just had that energy, man, and those prayers, and it just felt like he was just open. You know what I mean? You could just feel his pain when he was rapping. And you could tell, like, by looking at his life and everything that happened, that it was unfortunate. But he just gave it all to us, opened up his life to us. Mm-hmm. So for everything, DMX for that.
One of the dudes that truly, truly kept it 100. If you think about, like, I think about after Tupac, right? And I think about standing in front of my TV. You remember do you guys ever have the Box Network? The Jukebox Network?
No, we ain't had cable.
Okay. So this is
I ain't even gonna hold you.
This is like when I would stay at this lady who babysit us. She had that Jukebox Network, and people could call in, see what kind of music videos they wanted. And I would just stand. I remember just standing there seeing DMX for the first time, and then did back to back. Stop Being Greedy and Slip and Falling. Mm-hmm. And I remember Stop Being Greedy. I was like, dang, this has like this crazy energy. You got pit bulls and everything. And I remember Slip and Falling, and I just remember like. I was too young to like really get what he was talking about. I was like, man, he like going through it. Like, man. But like music video, I remember like his mom was being mean to him and he like had to run away from home. But like it was just like something of like, wow, he found like he was slipping, but he's asking God for help. That's like as as much as I could understand, that's it. But like
nobody had done that in hip hop then. Like not like that.
Yeah, that's that level. Yeah.
My favorite X thing ain't even got nothing to do with it. Well, like he didn't tell the story. It was when Fat Joe was on Dream Champs. He talked about DMX. Like they talked about DMX throwing refrigerators
out the window, like 7 stories up.
Bruh, what?
Yeah,
like, bruh, like trying to get a verse for a week and you with him the whole time and like, oh, yo,
don't wake the dog while he sleep.
Yeah, nobody gets a verse from the dog that easy. So man,
that's Nori.
Yeah, bro, that's one of my favorites. And then just like when it was always so powerful when bro would just pray on stage like that, bro. Like, when you watch the backstage documentary, bro, and like the dog is just like moving back and forth with this energy, and then he just stops and like pray for the people, bro. Like that was always, super inspiring. And then also, bro, he like just being able to like write a verse like that verse on What They Really Want.
Man,
like how do you come up with songs, that many names? Like,
a whole verse writing names.
Don, LaShawn, Inez, and Alicia.
Like, bro,
Cookie. I met her at the ice cream park.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
everybody about 3 Kims.
Bro, I promise you could not be named Kim in that era.
Man, you could have none of them names.
Real talk, bro. Nah, man.
Bro, why did we listen to some X at Jay's wedding?
Man, DJ was, I don't even want to talk about that DJ.
Okay, speaking of, so we was at our close friend Jordan's wedding, and the Teach Me How to Dougie song came on. And this rather plump Caucasian man,
he said, got
hyped up and started doing the Dougie.
Yeah, that was his moment.
He tore his ACL. It is confirmed. He tore his ACL at a wedding.
He came out strong, though. He started that first 7 seconds was strong.
I ain't even told
with the turn.
I promise.
When he with the turn, his knee turned to like a wet noodle.
Bro, and it didn't make it no worse. We like hyped him up and like pulled him up like to jump back on his knee, bro. Bro, I promise
I was wrong for picking him up that quick, man.
I feel like you
need to give him like 2 or 3 seconds. I was watching.
I promise you. I gotta tell my cousin that, bro. I promise you. Yeah, that was crazy. But
hey man, black people hyping you.
They ain't have insurance, bro.
No.
They ain't have insurance.
Bro, don't say that, bro. Don't say that. Don't do that.
I will say this.
I'm joking.
Black people surrounding you and saying, hey, is like an adrenaline boost for a white man that wants to dance. So he just got his confidence all the way up.
Bro, he had a battery.
He lost his mind. He was like, hey, bro, the highlight though, shout out to our brother Reggie. Y'all gonna see him later on this podcast. Cash brought it up. To this morning, we was talking about the wedding. He said the craziest part, Dad, was when Reggie started twerking. I said, bruh, I promise you. Yeah, Beth was like, my wife was like, I ain't no dudes can move like that.
I was about to say that
yoga. That's that yoga he be doing.
Just throwing it back.
My hips don't work like that. I promise.
It was so funny. It's just normal to us now. Like Reg.
That's Reg.
That again.
That's Reg.
He was moving, boy.
Bruh, that's percolating. He was percolating. You know what I'm saying?
Like one of them old ladies from the South, bro.
Bro, I promise. That's the name of this episode. Perculate.
Yeah, knees like Megan.
Bro, and I don't know. It came out of nowhere. He just started doing it. It was like, I don't even know what song was on. It
wasn't back that thing up or nothing. They didn't play no Juvenile.
Bro, I promise you, I just look back and I just see Reggie with his hands on his knees, like going.
Nah, it was the WAP. He got down a WAP.
Oh no.
Reg, oh shoot, bro.
We hope we ain't messing up no brand partnerships for you, bro. Man, we had such a good time.
Yeah, go back and edit that mug. I'm sure.
Right. We hadn't seen each
out
other in 2 years. So it was like a big
Man.
celebration for us this past weekend, being able to get together and just love
Man,
on
it was a lot of fun.
But in the midst of that,
shout out to Jordan.
Shout out to Jordan and Hannah, the field.
Man, beautiful wedding, man. Beautiful, beautiful wedding.
Beautiful wedding. Thank you for just laying it out. Like, I mean, it was absolutely like incredible. It was an incredible wedding. It was just really unforgettable. I know I won't like, man, listen, these weddings we've had in the crew, bro, legendary. It's just straight up, man.
You know what I was thinking? Right before we I was thinking.
One they not mentioned.
Oh, no, but that's legendary for that too. Yeah, that one I named it. Yeah, bro.
I will say that I used to want to be in a fraternity so bad. And after this past weekend, I was like, yo, y'all are my frat brothers.
No, real talk.
Oh, man, right? No, we real frat brothers.
I promise you, we call nigga five niggas. No, I'm just
hey, we do be coming out kind of militant when we got that.
There go the nephew.
What was that bar we was at?
There go
we
the
started
nephew.
singing our own songs.
Oh, bro, I don't even.
Oh yeah, he up here talking, man. He trying to be on the
Trey,
show.
Welcome
too.
to the podcast, nephew.
What up, Trey?
Here to say the joke of the day.
Joke of the day, right? Shout out to ET and them in the Secret Success podcast. Y'all definitely helped inspire us to do this. So
they probably get a bunch of shout outs throughout the course of time, man.
No, straight up, man. Life changing work that they do. But man, one of my favorite moments of the weekend that we got together was the night before the wedding. We were just sitting down, chilling in Reggie's garage, smoking some Cuban cigars that our boy Ramsey bought, the Cubans, straight up from Miami.
Fact, man.
Good. I got mine right here. I promise.
Yeah.
I got mine right here. I think. Oh yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying?
I got a little dirty in here. The ashes, but I swear somebody took my container.
I think yours broke. It was a crazy night. But anyway. You know what I'm saying? But we were just sitting, just chilling, talking, laughing, and crying. And we got like, I'm talking about we went from 0 to 100. And we got on the topic. We just started like just opening up to one another like we've always done with each other. We've been fortunate enough to like have that type of like brotherhood. And man, one of the things we talked about was establishing like generational blessings, right? And that's a phrase I got from you, Ramsey. Me and my wife, we had been on like after our journey, we had been on like, okay, we breaking generational curses. But one day you was like, yeah, but y'all also establishing generational blessings. Yeah. And that was the first time I had ever heard that. So Rams, if you could, bro, just like explain what that aspect of it is. Like, what is generational blessings? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think before I define it, I want to give like the context of what that conversation was, because you was just pouring your heart out and talking about how your son Cash, how you were just so proud of the person, the man that he was becoming, because you were taking the whole family to church and you see him like just worshiping God, like unprompted, just like his own heart, like opening up his hands and just bowing and like recognizing the presence of God.
Shout out to Cash.
Shout out to Cash, man. Love that dude. And then I was like, bro, because you were talking about breaking generational curses, and we even talking about like generational wealth and making that. But I was like, bro, you know what you're also doing by that? That not just popping my head. You're establishing generational blessings. Like you are creating patterns. Not only we talk about undoing patterns, negative patterns that we have learned from those who came before us, but you're establishing positive patterns. You're encouraging, putting positive reinforcement behind the things that are in his heart, the good things that are in his heart. And so you're creating patterns that he's going to be able to model down the line positively, that is going to bless his kids and his kids' kids, because he had a praying dad, a praying granddad that will be you, you know?
Man. Yeah, bro, that's heavy.
It's amazing.
So we just got on the topic, and I'm gonna just like, just in a moment of like, just straight up vulnerability, you know, planning our wedding has been tough We doing like a 10-year wedding anniversary vow renewal. And bro, it's been tough because for whatever reason in our Black culture, that we don't believe in blessing our kids the way other cultures do when it comes to marriage.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I never realized that until, because when we first got married, we had something small and we didn't even have to pay for it. It was like, this is crazy right here. It was 2 families from our college, 2 white ladies and they families who wanted to bless me and Beth. And they everything.
That's a blessing.
Did you hear that though? Like 2 white ladies. And so I want to like really break down like why aren't we more into like establishing generational blessings or like these, you know what I'm saying? Like why, or where that mindset would come from of like why we don't, because I look at it like, man, if you can bless your kid going intimate, like it validates. It's like you're literally blessing the union. Like, hey, I'm with you. I'm supporting you. But for whatever reason, it's not like that in the Black community. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I think if it's like monetary wise, yeah. You know what I mean? But I think we got off to like a late start too, you know? Like we weren't allowed to own homes until like, was it the 60s, you know?
Yeah, that's a good one.
So we had to be renting the whole time and stacked in somebody else's pockets, you know? But like life insurance and all that, we got off to a late jump. That stuff wasn't for us for real. So I think like we just now getting like that. So like our generation for sure, like we're going to do that for our children, you know? Whereas our parents may not have had it, you know, it was not too many generations removed from all that civil rights movement and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, no, very true.
I feel like I get like a lot of wisdom though from like older people, you know what I mean? Our elders, I should say older people, if they take offense to that. Yeah. Like our elders regarding marriage, you know what I mean? For like from my own family and whatnot, but also even with like people at my job, man. I work with a lot of, I would say probably about 90% of my people I work with are Black. And they be always giving wisdom, want to pray for me and stuff like that. And it's like a church there.
Oh, for real?
But yeah, but like I get that type of wisdom though, you know what I mean? Like that blessing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good old Miss Sherby.
Yeah, right? That's 2 mentions in a row, man.
Yeah, right.
I would say for me and my family, it was interesting having like an immigrant family coming in because like my parents just straight up told, they're like, look, we just went to the justice of the peace, did it, got it done, because that's all they could have. But sometimes, like what we were saying with establishing patterns, like if we all stay in our mentality of that's all we could have or that's all we could do, we forget to think of like, why was that? Like Mike was saying, oh, it was because we didn't have. Now that we do, like what do we do moving forward? So just not to get in the pattern because we didn't have. Like something, like I thought of this. Some person said like they always made, when they made like it was like a pot roast or a butt cake, they would always cut it into a fourth. And they always did that. And the husband asked, like, why would you always do that? She's like, I don't know. That's how my mom always did it. She asked her mom. She's like, I don't know. That's how my mom always did it. It's like, and then when she asked the great grandma, it was just like, we didn't have a pan that big. So I always cut the pot roast in half and put it in like the little bread pan to put it. We weren't doing it because it was some salad. That's all we could do. But then if you don't talk about that pattern, and it's embarrassing to talk about being poor and not being able to have, you know?
Okay, so let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome to the Multi-Motivational Minutes on the LITE Podcast. I am Reggie Harris, and I am founder and CEO of Harris Multifaceted LLC. Look me up online, where our motto is to engage, educate, equip, and empower. Do not dim nobody else's light so that yours can shine more. You know, you have people that will say condescending things about others in order to make themselves feel better about themselves. There's an old saying my grandma used to always say, she said, be careful what and how you do people, because your deeds will come back to eat you up. See, what she was saying is your actions will come back to bite you in the long run. So when you're dimming somebody else's light, you better be careful, because guess what begins to happen? You end up dimming yours. You end up creating paranoia. You end up hurting yourself in the long run. But when you elevate other people's light, therefore it brings light to your light. You become a better person. You become stronger. You begin to find your niche. And guess what begins to happen? When light helps other light begin to shine, you begin to cover darkness. You begin to help each other. You begin to grow. So here's the thing. Take this from us. Help other people's light to shine so that yours will shine brighter. Peace.
Now we get into it. So once we do have, when is it, like how long is it okay to walk in the same mindset as if you don't? You know what I'm saying? Like, how long is it okay? Like, when is it, you know what I'm saying? When is it like, all right, come on now. Like, for real. Same, like, no, it's not, we're not living like that anymore. So why are we living like that still? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not reality anymore. So why are we still, like, you know what I'm saying? Why are we still moving like that?
Yeah. I think it's, okay, we talked about the Boondocks one time as a joke, right?
Yeah.
But I was reading this episode of Boondocks with Riley. He's talking to Granddad. He's making all that food, you know, pork with the greens, and he's putting all this stuff in it. And, you know, Riley is reading his book about like not having all this in your body. But he was like, Granddad goes, "This food is your culture." Well, no, here's what Huey goes, "This food is destructive." And he said, "This food is your culture." He said, "Well, then the culture is destructive."
Ooh, come on.
Because
poison.
As Black, like we're trying to pull or grasp on to hold on to our culture, right? We have to establish our own, make new traditions because people keep trying to beat you up. So we have to turn things that were meant to make us feel less than. Yeah, meant to kill us to turn good.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, now we turn this. And that was part of our culture, is turning bad things good.
Right.
But now when we don't, if my culture is turning bad things good and now I have good things, what do I do with the good thing?
Right.
Because I'm used to turning bad things good.
And you get demonized for the good, for the new thing in the cup, bro. You eating that? Like, no, I'm just joking. Like, Mike is like a full-fledged vegan, and I was messing with him and Montia all weekend about like eating. You know what I'm saying? But like, I know the benefits of it. Like, I do. I'm like on and off with it. I ain't like as extreme as y'all, but it's like. But there are really people who are like, oh, you go to Granny in their house, and they like what? What you mean?
Bro, it's crazy. Sometimes I don't even want to break it up because it's just like a sword to some people. You know what I mean? It's like, man, it's about to cause it a stir over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nah, it's crazy. I was like, for me, it was like, man, I see like she mentioned it to me, brought it up to me, and said she wanted to do this. So I was cool with it. After like really talking to her and really thinking about it for some time, I didn't want to like stop her from doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then I started thinking for myself, I was like, man, my granddad didn't get to see age 60 for real. You know what I mean? My dad didn't get to see age 60. I'm like, man, that's 30 more years. I'm looking at my son. I'm like, man, I got to make a change.
Gotta be here.
I'll be damn. Nah.
Yeah.
I'm going to live long. And son, Trey, you going to live long too. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to stop
generational blessing. That's
right?
it. Ding, ding. We need to ring the bell. Generational.
Your health is your wealth, man.
Ooh, that's good, bro.
And
that's
you
good.
like
that life is too good. You know what I mean? You start creating stuff, you start seeing like, man, life is good. Why do I want to leave?
Bruh.
You know, why do I want to leave?
I promise to God, I used to tell my wife this all the time. I used to have like, I literally couldn't see like me at this age I am now. Because when I was young,
right?
I had homies start dying at 16, 17, 18, 21, 20. Like y'all was there for a couple of them who passed. Like I didn't see people I never saw an old person in a casket besides my grandfather. And he was like old. He was 90, 70, 80 years old when he passed. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? He had lived that hard life, grew up plantation in the South. Like he lived on like a real hard life. So for him to make it to like 80 something or whatever he was, like that was like, ooh, smoking cigarettes, all that since he was like 12. Like, so it was a blessing. But like now I'm like, bruh, I gotta be here for the great grandkids. And not just be here for that. I want to, I got this vision for me and my wife. We sitting on the porch at the family reunion and they in our yard on the land we own, at the house we own. And this is where everybody comes back at the family reunion. You know what I'm saying? And we just watching these generational blessings, like
family reunion.
No, 100% being manifested into
I
where
see
it's
it,
like,
bro. I see it.
And it's like, no, we really like the patriarch and matriarch of this family for real. Like we, you know what I'm saying? We and to bring it back to the wedding, like, yeah, this is the wedding that sets the standard for this is why we do our weddings like this. Not that we're trying to be all extra'd out, but no, this is like such a special, life-changing, powerful moment before God. You know what I'm saying? That's like real. We don't look at it like that. We look, bro, just go. Like, if you love it, just go to the little, you know what I'm saying, the crowd, like boom, boom, boom. But it's like, nah, bro. Like, Jesus' first miracle.
Something special.
Bro, his first miracle was at a wedding, bro. I don't take that lightly. Like, bro, he could have done it anywhere, but he chose to make that at a wedding with two people like exchanging their vows, bro. Like, that's serious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bro. I just went on a tangent. My bad. But
no, you good, bro. That's real, because weddings, like that's your love story. You know?
Yeah.
When the grandbabies gonna be reading about it, they gonna see Jay and Beth on this date. You know what I mean? And what y'all did, what y'all created.
I mean, yeah, bro.
That's a blessing, you know.
Like being able to show your kids, like, man, look at your great grandma. This was her dress. Keeping her dress, and like, this is your. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's just some power, and it sets a standard for the babies to come. I feel like that's the problem, bro. I thought my standard was broken relationships. Like, no disrespect to my parents, but that's where I come from. That's what my standard was. So when we was going through our go-through, it was like, no, this is cool. Like, it's this part of it, right? Like, this part of it. This part, you get together, you get divorced. Like, this part of it.
Yeah.
So, man, you know what I just thought about with all of that? That's so dope. I used to, because my parents, as being like brand new immigrants, they were just in that immigrant struggle of like not having anything. But I thought about like cousins or other people, like if we went to a wedding in Haiti, or like where they had their stuff established and they lived there, or people who got established there and already built here and then they got married. The Haitian weddings are so extra, bro. And I was like, I used to complain. I mean, I still, up until last week, I was probably still complaining about it because it was like the flower girls, the bridal, and it's not just the bridal party. You got the teenage bridal party and the kids bridal. They like do generation, like, and I had to be the teenage thing, do these dances, bro. I'll send you a video how extra it is. You got to do this little dance and all this stuff. And I was like, why do we have to do all of this? But now that you're talking about it the way you guys are, I was like, oh, wow, like this is actually something they care so much because it's very special to them. And I was thinking of like my Nigerian friends, when they do weddings, they do this thing called money dance. They go all out.
How you say Igbo weddings? I promise you, bro.
But, yeah, it's not that it's not in us. It's just that we have to reclaim and reestablish that generational blessed. Like, this is a blessed event, and this is why it's blessed. You know.
Yeah. On the other side, I love how you talked about like deconstructing these things that was like in the way. You know, we had Mike, your brother, put in the group chat about like discipline. Yeah, discipline. Yeah, shout out to Matt about disciplining our kids, like with like, you know, a whooping. You know what I'm saying? We was all raised off of the verse, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Spoil the child.
Right? And so, you know, your brother posed that question, and I was just like, man, honestly, like after deep reflection, like, nah, that's just something that was passed down from our slave masters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You're like, that's what that comes from. Cause like, if you like, how far back does that go? If we go past slavery, is like, was the conversation like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to whoop your child ass. Like, he acting up. Was that the conversation in the village? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Cause I know a bunch of kids.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, I know a bunch of kids who got whoopings all the time and they locked up. So how well did it work? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, even deconstructing that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do y'all, like, how y'all feel about it? You know?
I think what you said is like, right, we're born into like a mindset usually, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, it's hard when you see you're born into something, you comes into this household that you have, there's just a certain mindset, you know what I mean? If you're getting taught at an early age that you're sick, you know what I mean? You go to school and you hear you sick, and then you go back home, you hear you sick. Eventually you're gonna start thinking you're sick if you're a kid, unless you just got some like a real strong backbone, you know what I mean? Or just touch, just chosen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you get born into that mindset, you know?
Yeah, that's powerful.
And then you just kind of just follow it. You kind of live your life on it. But like it's coming to a point where you gotta have to recognize if that light gets shown to you, now you're responsible. You know, you're gonna continue just to keep going down the same river, or you're gonna turn back around.
Nah, straight up. Like, you gonna go,
Yeah, that river analogy is powerful. Like, you
Gotta be that salmon.
You gotta be that.
That salmon.
Right. So, man, fellas, just before we get up out of here, if y'all could, man, share one way that, you know, you're establishing like a generational blessing, or something maybe you had to deconstruct in order to turn it into a generational blessing, like something that y'all want to do that with or are implementing currently.
When you guys thought about the discipline, I was thinking about my youngest sister when she was like we all took a part in like raising her, you know. When she was little, I was like a teenager, but I had just heard about the whole like, okay, I'm going to try to like talk to you like a human being in time outs and stuff like that. And it was like, put her in the chair. She come right back. I was like, no, you did this. So you got to sit back in that chair in that corner and be away from everybody. It's like, and then like, after like 3 or 4 times I put like, no, we're serious. You really got to do this. She, you know, thinking I was like, this isn't going to do anything. She saw everybody else, you know, having a good time, ignore it. And then she's just like, is timeout over now? Just like, I was like, oh, wow. This is actually realizing that you're going to be put out of the social group because of your social behavior was like a novel thing. And watching somebody realize that for the first time, and her actually being like, dang, this does suck, was like, oh, you can actually talk to people, actually teach them this rather than just be like, okay.
The cerebral part of like understanding you did wrong.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing that right now with Trey, man. Chasing all around his house, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know better than me.
It takes a lot of patience on a parent.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier just to grab that hand, beat that butt. No, I'm just joking.
No. But that's
chill.
real. But that's a short-term fix.
Yeah. And then you establish fear, you know? You don't want them to fear you.
I don't want them to fear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful.
But it takes a lot of patience, man. Sometimes, you know, like you say something like it's an easy switch, but it'd be hard, man. It'd be hard. Not just like discipline your children, but whatever it is, like something about this diet thing. Being plant-based.
Generational blessing, bro.
Man, I'm sitting over here looking at some of these restaurants. I'm like, boy, Popeyes, man, I miss it sometimes. That 2-piece thigh.
Chicken wing. I'm gonna sneak you a chicken wing when you come up here.
But now it's crazy. So now I really don't really miss it too much. At first, though, it was like that. It was really like that. But now it's not too bad. You know, we try to get to that groove, but it's like that change. You got to take like that mindset and everything. It's probably, most of it just don't affect you. It affects your family too. You're not the only one thinking like that, or the people you hang around. Usually birds of a feather flock together. You know what I mean? Yeah, but when you try to go against that current of that mindset, you're like pulled against everything. You're up against like a large wall. It's like, this is what I've built up and all my family's built up. Now I'm trying to bust this down and go to the other side. Yeah. Eventually we get that wall down, it gets easier to walk, but it takes a while. You got to just keep at it. Sometimes we're looking to go forward, judging how far we went, but we don't see the water we're up against and we're knocking down, you know? Ooh. It's like, well, I'm not going anywhere. Sometimes we just quit. We just turn around the other way. Like, once you get that wall down, you're going to be all right. But you just got to get that wall down.
Ooh, I just thought of something. You're not being like, because even with your eating habits, all the stuff that you're doing, you're not being impulsive. You're being intentional.
Woo!
Yeah, bro.
Talk heavy, Rams.
Because The same thing. You're not being impulsive. You're being intentional. Because impulsive is like, oh man, he made me mad. Let me grab this belt. Because that's my impulse. But the food is like, oh, that looks good. That has calories in it. My body is naturally wants calories. Let me eat this. But if you're intentionally like, okay, what will give me energy? Okay, what did this kid do? Why did he think to do this? So that's what you're doing, man. You're being.
That facts, bro. Same thing with budgeting, man. You gotta do the same thing. You know, every dollar got a purpose. If you're not intentional about your checkbook, you know what I mean? You're going to spend your money anywhere. My bag going everywhere now.
No. But that's just like, it just applies to life.
Yeah.
Like it's not the what, it's the thought process behind, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same, bro. For us, the big thing has been like just relationship wise, like establishing that blessing of being like, all right, the train stops here.
Yeah.
Like straight, the train stop here. Ain't no more, you know what I'm saying, divorce. Ain't no more, you know what I'm saying, ain't no more, like, none of that. The train stops here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we intentional with like teaching cash, resolve, like not even like hiding our disagreements from them. It's like, no, like let them see like how we working this thing out. Cause sometimes it do get a little frustrating, but okay, we gonna come back in love, like, because I'm like nobody taught me how to be committed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So once it clicked in my mind, shout out to ET and them, like it clicked in my mind and I had a real life example of what that looks like. I was like, oh, okay. So do this, and be intentional and not impulsive. Now it's like, okay, so let me do this. Saturdays is only like, it's literally date night. And if we can't have a date night because we got cash or whatever, then like we still gonna be together. Sunday is family day. It is not, don't call me for nothing because I ain't got nothing for you. Like I can't help you move. I can't help you do nothing. Like it's family day. Like you know what I'm saying? We going to church. We at the park. We just together. We having family day and we resting. You know what I'm saying? As the Lord did, you know what I'm saying? When he finished and everything. And so just establishing those generational blessings, bro. Because we want to be here for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know,
bro,
we gone.
It's crazy you're saying that, like seeing what Cash is going to see and everything. You know what I mean? And what he's going to be looking for because he's getting to see that. And I was talking to my wife about this. I said, if you had to be born all over again, like I love my parents, but I'd probably rather for my child to raise me when he like becomes an adult, you know what I mean? Because the level of the knowledge that he's going to have, the wisdom he's going to have.
That's powerful, bro.
He's not going to have to deal with like some of the stuff that my parents had to deal with, that I may have to deal with, you know?
That's powerful.
He's not going to see that. But it's only going to continue to get better and better, you know?
Yeah.
It's like some of the wrinkles and creaks we're trying to figure out right now, they ain't going to have to worry about that.
They ain't going to have to worry about that.
You know?
That's powerful, bro. That's powerful. Well, fellas. Oh, you got something? You want to close this out then, Rams?
Yeah, I guess from my
side. I forgot we were recording doing the podcast.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking even before, now I'm like, of course, I'm not married, but I was like, how can I do? Because I went to a different example before because I was thinking at first, I was like, well, I'm not married, so I'm not starting that. But I was like, you know, even now I'm starting those generational blessings even before any of that happens. Because I'm thinking of, you know, when I had seen around my family or people that had seen like just infidelity was the normal, like, you know, that's just how men are. They're going to do that, you know, and being so, at first I used to let that like paralyze me. I'm like, oh no, is that going to be me? And let me just stay away from relationships altogether. Like, let me just like pull back. But instead switching my mindset to leaning in and being like in Christ, I am a new creature. Like that is not me. Like what other people did isn't me. And so I can establish by being intentional and not impulsive. Because in my mind, it was like, oh man, people are going to get married, but they're going to have impulses. So they're going to like run away and they're going to break somebody's heart. I don't want to do that.
Intentional.
So I feel like I'm really intentional in that, in my relational pursuits. And that doesn't mean you have to have like the perfect thing all in your head, but it's like, okay, I have a plan. I have I'm focused. You know, it's not just all out here for no reason, or it's not going to be something that's going to be potentially damaging to myself or someone else. So that's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm at, I guess.
That's a good word, man. That's a good word. Well, shoot, we about to run out of time, but I appreciate y'all, fellas. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in to our first episode of the LITE Podcast. Listen, we dropping every Wednesday, so stay tuned in, man. Mike, love you, bro. Ramsey.
Love y'all, man.
Hey, y'all go out. Remember, light bring more light. We'll see y'all next week.